Hi, I'm John Locke. I'm a member of the Baltimore Symphony's percussion section, and I have been for 30 years. It's been a dream job for me. I love what I do. It's been just a dream come true, and I'm one of the luckiest people in the world to be able to play music every day. My mother was a pianist, and I have two older sisters, and they both studied piano. My mother was quite accomplished. As a young girl, my grandmother would read poetry on the radio in Pennsylvania, in a very small town, Chambersburg. And my mother would play musical pieces over the radio in this program that they had weekly. I listened to her play when I was very, very young. I have a very fond memory of that, being under the piano and having her play as a little boy. I was about 9, probably because my sisters both played the piano, and I was okay at piano, but I wasn't super great player. I love music, but there was something about, I remember the moment actually. It was a Memorial Day parade in our little town, and the high school band and the middle school band was playing. And they went down the main street, and I heard this drum line, and I was just enthralled when I heard this. I was next to it, and I must have gone along with the parade, the band, and walked along, and I said, I'm going to go with them. And so my mother said, well, don't get lost, you know, and I stayed with the drum line for must have been a mile through the entire town, because I just loved the sense, the sound, the volume, sensing the instruments. And that was it. Something in my mind just clicked, and I said, I want to do this. Well, my favorite instruments, really out of all the instruments, are cymbals. The reason for that, I know it's a non-melodic instrument. There are other people in the section like Brian and Chris. They love, to play mallet instruments. And for 20 years, I played a lot of xylophone and bells and marimba. And then about 10 years ago, things started moving in a different direction for me. I have always played a lot of cymbals. But the reason why I like cymbals is because they're the most interpretive instrument. For example, I have some cymbals here. It'll say, the part will say, I hope you can see this. The part will say, play a suspended cymbal. Okay, well, I have they're all very unique in their sound. So, and this is just 4, and I must have 20 or 30 at my disposal. The point is that each cymbal is handmade, and they have individual personalities and sounds. There's a lot of art to picking out the sounds that you prefer and you think will fit musically. There's a lot of collaboration. I certainly, defer to my colleagues, Brian and Chris, and say, do you like this? We have a lot of discussion. I listen to many, many recordings of the top orchestras in the world. And then I go through my collection at the symphony and try to pick out something that I hear will fit that particular part in the repertoire that we're playing. Whether it's a suspended cymbal or crash cymbals. I have crash cymbals over here. So it won't tell you. The part just says play cymbals, play crash cymbals. These are 18 inches in diameter, and these are good for most volumes. They go from pretty soft to fairly loud. But in a big crash in a Mahler symphony, these are not going to be adequate when you have 100 people playing full volume at a climax in the piece. So I have to go to other instruments. The gong, or tam-tam, is a Chinese instrument. This is made in Wuhan, China, and they're handmade like cymbals. And when we play them, we want to warm them up first or prime the instrument by tapping with our hand or with the mallet. And we're going to strike the gong either at 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock, just off the inner circle here for the best tone. The crotales are used in Carmina Burana, and the part is often misinterpreted. It says CYMB, and that's it. Orff uses piatti, which is the Italian for plates, when he wants crash cymbals. And I have it marked crotale, but it says CYMB, scribbled there. And what does that mean? Well, a lot of people have played suspended cymbal there, and it's totally wrong. What you need to do is play crotales that are in the key, but which one? Now, my son confused crotales with finger cymbals. These are finger cymbals. Everybody's familiar with that. And this is a different type of finger cymbal. This is a Tibetan finger cymbal. These are actually from Tibet. A little more definite sound, but very different quality. You see? And these are crotales. They're also called antique cymbals, and they originate from ancient Egypt, and they were vinegar cups where they would sit different types of vinegar, and they made a sound. But this is a definite pitch. This is an A crotale. Here's an F, which is also used in Orff's Carmina Burana, and the low D. So it's a D minor chord. And we generally hold them up and play them with a plastic mallet. They're also, crotales are also used in Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. Sometimes we take two of the same pitch and hit them together. Like this. But they would be the same pitch rather than an F and an A. It comes along actually quite frequently. Now, in Star Trek, the movie, the first major movie, the recent one, it called for medals. It just said medals. So, you know, you have to go and listen to the movie and see what's going on in the background. If you can hear it, sometimes they're buried in the score. But it turned out that it was something called a ribbon crasher. And I made my own. I fashioned my own. I got pieces of aluminum and made this little stand and ended up playing. It was quite a rhythmic. They are commercially available now, but they were very hard to find, and we needed one in a short amount of time, and in 2 days I had this made. So now this is a slapstick that way back Sergio Commissiono liked, a slapstick in this shape. This is triangular and it gets thinner. Usually slapsticks are just two pieces of wood, but he liked this because it was thinner, and this is the type of slapstick that they use in Europe, and he was used to this sound. So I made this. This is made from, what is this? Walnut. It's a piece of walnut that I made. And during the recording of Michael Daugherty's, now this was back in the Zinman era, we were playing a Superman suite by Michael Daugherty, and he has 3 slapsticks in there. And during the recording session, we kept breaking the slapsticks. David said, well, we'll work on this tomorrow. Go home and build some more slapsticks, and we'll do this movement tomorrow. Will you come up with something? So I went to my neighbor, who's a an engineer and a machinist and a brilliant guy. And we talked about the problem, and he said, oh, I have some scraps here, we can do this, we can do that. And I ended up building slapsticks. This is made out of a synthetic material. I had to put holes in it to let the air out. And the nice thing about it is that it doesn't change quality, even at a soft sound, or if you're going to go really loud. And it never breaks, it's unbreakable. So I designed the handles, had them machined, and used stainless steel hinges. And this slapstick, which is just a simple instrument, is being used in orchestras around the world. Philadelphia uses it, Boston. I've shipped them to a lot of colleagues, and they love it. It's a really great instrument. And again, they don't have all the splinters that occur with most slapsticks. The bass drum starts with the strings sustaining, and then this motive from the xylophone comes in. As the piece develops, the xylophone motive continues. And then one of the parts also in the same rhythmic motive we have their snare drum and tom-tom. I hope you've gotten a new insight into our world. There's a lot of detail and a lot of thought that goes into what we do back there.